Hey guys, today we are making, yes, sweet bread pudding. Oh my goodness, this is too good, just too good. Let's go ahead and get started. We have some flour in a bowl here, and I'm going to add some salt, a pinch of salt, as well as some baking powder. All the amounts will be listed below in the description box, of course. We're also going to go ahead and add in some ground cinnamon, as well as some freshly grated nutmeg or some ground nutmeg, whatever you have on hand. And then we're also just going to, this is just going to be our dry ingredients. And what we want to do is after we add in all of this, we just want to give it a nice mix before we go ahead and add in our raisins and our coconut. Now this is pretty much just like my sweetbread muffin recipe, which I have, but there's a few little changes to it here and there, but pretty much I will have everything listed below. So mix your flour and all that together and then add in your raisins and your shredded coconut. Now, if you haven't noticed, I don't want to add any sugar to this because this is how this recipe actually came about. I forgot completely to add sugar to my sweetbread muffins, which is how do you forget sugar in sweetbread? But I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a bread pudding. I'm going to try that, and it just came out fantastic. And now it's something that I want to make all the time because it's that good. So for our wet ingredients, we're going to need 1 stick of melted butter that is cooled because we are going to add 1 egg to that. So 1 stick or a half a cup of melted butter. And then we're going to go ahead and add in 1 egg. And we're going to also add in 3/4 cup of evaporated milk. Now, I like to use fat-free evaporated milk. It just makes it a little bit more, I could enjoy it a little bit more without feeling like I'm just, it's up to you, whatever you want, but some evaporated milk as well as some mixed essence or vanilla extract. And this is my secret ingredient for my muffins that I make. I use a 6-ounce little tin of Yoplait French vanilla yogurt. It is low fat and it is 6 ounces. It just works fantastic in this recipe. It makes the sweetbread really moist and just adds a little extra layer of flavor to it. It's perfection. It's just going to mix all of those wet ingredients together till everything is really nice and combined. And pretty much as fancy and schmancy as it gets, we are going to just add wet to dry and mix it together. Ta-da! It's all that. It is really that simple. Anybody could do this, and you could get the little ones to help you with it because it's really an easy recipe, but it is really, really good. So just go ahead and do that, add that in, and then mix it all together. Now my oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and I've also got a muffin tin that I have sprayed with nonstick cooking spray, and I'm going to get my ice cream scoop and start scooping in about 1 scoop into each muffin, each little piece, and that's just going to bake for about 35 to 40 minutes. The reason I like to use the muffin tin as well is because it just bakes so much faster. So about 30 to 35 minutes. You could check on it about 30 minutes to see how it's going. Every oven is different. And then we're just going to go ahead and let this bake, and then we're going to get started on the custard part. I also add some apples to this recipe, guys, and it is fantastic. We have some brown sugar and some granulated sugar, as well as 2 apples that I've just peeled and cut up into small pieces. Use any kind of apple that you have, any kind of apple that you like. Remember, all the amounts will be listed below in the description box for each part that I used. Now, to my brown sugar, my granulated sugar, I'm going to add in some evaporated milk, as well as some whole milk. And you're also going to need 3 large eggs. So you're going to go ahead and add that all in. I'm going to add a little pinch of cinnamon to this and also a little bit of salt just to bring all those flavors together. So a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of salt. And all we're going to do is just mix all this together until it's really well incorporated, until all those eggs break up really well and it becomes really nice and just like a smooth little mixture. So by now our muffins are done, and we're going to let them cool a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're just going to cut them up into little small pieces, maybe an inch by inch or an 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Just going to cut them up, and then we're just going to place them into our casserole dish with all of our apples. Now I'm using 2 Fuji apples. I love Fuji apples, but you can use whatever apple you choose. The apples go perfect perfectly with these sweetbread little things. It is really, really, really good. I just can't tell you anymore. You just have to try it. So I'm just going to mix that really well and try to get all the apples and everything just really mixed well. I want an apple in every bite, like a couple pieces in every bite, because it's crunchy, but it kind of melts down a little bit and breaks down. It's fantastic. So what we're going to do is just going to pour this eggy custard mixture that we made with the egg, evaporated milk, and all that all over the top. Make sure and get it all in there. I'm going to use all of that and just pour it on top of it. Just like so, and then we're going to use our hands and kind of just press down on it to make sure everything is getting soaking in that liquid. Because you really want that bread to absorb and the apples to kind of absorb that. We're going to let this sit on the counter for about 2 hours to really absorb that in and take it in and really let it go. So let it sit for about 2 hours. So after 2 hours, you can see that it's absorbed a lot of that liquid. It's pretty much ready to go in the oven. My oven is preheated at this point to 375 degrees, and we're going to let this go for about 45 minutes to an hour. Then we're going to make a butter vanilla sauce. In my saucepan, I have some butter. I'm going to add in some whole milk as well as some evaporated milk. Remember, again, all the amounts will be listed below in the description box, as well as some brown sugar. So we're just going to add all that to our saucepan on a medium-low heat. We're just going to mix it all together, just incorporate all that sugar and that milk together. And then we're just going to wait for this to come up to a boil. And once it starts to boil away, we're going to let it cook for 5 minutes on a boil. So just let it come up to a boil and let it boil away for 5 minutes. And then you're going to add in a good splash of vanilla extract. I also like to add a little touch of mixed essence to it because it just goes really well with all those flavors. And that is it. Now my bread pudding baked in the oven for about an hour. I like to leave it for an hour and 5 to 10 minutes so the top gets a nice, really golden brown color, which apples on top has a lovely crispiness to it. It's just, you just gotta try this. So I just cut myself a piece and I'm going to drizzle on top them with that buttery vanilla sauce that we made. And my goodness, guys, I don't even know what to say anymore, but you just have to try this because it is fantastic. It takes something as simple as a sweetbread and it turns it into something like this, which is amazing. And from 12 muffins, I made a large casserole, which is fantastic. And as you can see, the outside is crunchy, has a nice crunch, but the inside is soft and moist and very, oh so delicious. I can't even count probably the amount of times I said fantastic in this recipe because it really is. And I hope that you guys give this a try. If you do, let me know if you enjoyed it. All the amounts, again, will be listed below in the description box. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.